Okay, y'all, before I go into my meeting with somebody that I'm going to be doing a podcast with and having a conversation on my podcast, I just want to say this. When you first wake up in the morning and you may have had a bad weekend, bad day, bad circumstances, if you still here, then there's a purpose and a reason why you here. And instead of worrying about money and all this other stuff, find out what your purpose is, what your path and your journey is supposed to be. Because that might be why you in the predicament that you're in. Once you find out what your path, your purpose, and your journey is, then before you start it, you need to figure out how you ended up where you're at in the first place, which will lead to those three questions that I said: path, purpose, and journey. Now, you cannot start a new journey until you close every single chapter of your life that has caused you pain. And until you relinquish it and let it go and move forward, then you can't get nowhere. You cannot start a new chapter unless you close the old ones. You can't write a new book until you finish the one that you started. So you can't start your new chapters until you go into isolation, you go into a hibernation stage, and you go into this cocoon stage, and you become the butterfly, and you get away from the chains and the bondage and the cage that you've been locked up in for years due to other people putting you there. Until you find your identity. Not everybody else's identity, yours. You are original. Okay? Originality. You can be with other people and still be original and still be you. And the fact that we have let so many people tell us what we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to be, and what way we're supposed to do it, a lot of people have been held back. They have been lowering themselves to build other people up and not building yourself up. You're never supposed to lower yourself to build somebody else up. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to build yourself up first. Now, there's nothing wrong with helping people out. But when you lose more than you gain, then the answer is no. So when you look back at everything you've been through and you close these chapters and you heal and recover from all of this and overcome your addictions and those habits that have made you be where you at, because y'all been thinking about drugs, alcohol, sex, codependency. You think these things are going to solve your problems. They're not. They only make it worse. And yes, that temporary high, that temporary positive feeling that you feel off these negative things that are affecting your health and wellness is the part you're not thinking about. You're not thinking about how your choices, your decisions, your actions, and your behavior based on how you feel impacts your health and wellness. Emotional intelligence. If you don't know how to deal with negativity and how to listen to it and just say, okay. If you don't know how to get through negativity and how to spot negative people, if you don't know negative people's angles and how they prey on you, you are going to be screwed. Point blank period. You will be screwed. I promise you, you will be. So all I'm saying to you is, I understand. I really do. But in the end, you are the person that in the end, when you in that group, is every person for themselves. When the consequences, repercussions, and karma of committing a crime, you all going down. For every negative thing that you do, whether it's by yourself or with somebody, there is consequences, repercussions, and karma. There is. And you ain't gonna like it. All of y'all always talking about, I don't want to hear negativity. No, sometimes negativity can be the truth. Sometimes, matter of fact, majority of negativity can be the truth. Because let me tell you why. When somebody says something negative, that is the truth. That's their version of the truth. Every negative thing they said about you is actually the truth because they said it. Even though it's not true, what makes it true is the fact that they're saying it to your face, how they feel about you. And that is the truth. It's their version of the truth, but it's still the truth because they're telling you their interpretation of you. So that's their truth. Your truth is, it ain't true. Everybody else got to determine who's telling the truth, you or the other person. But again, how can somebody tell somebody else that don't know the story, that wasn't even there? How are they telling the truth? I've never understood that. How can somebody that was not there is able to tell the truth? They can only tell their version of the truth. Their version of what their truth is. But it ain't mine. Majority of people don't even research, don't verify. They'll put any and everything out there that is wrong. So sometimes you may not want to hear the negativity that is being said, but you need to. Because that right there going to tell you to walk away from them people. That right there going to tell you, if that's really what you believe, then go ahead on and believe it. I don't need to explain nothing to you. I was the person that was there. If it's not from the people that's involved that was there speaking on it, nobody else can speak on somebody else's truth that wasn't there. Especially if they didn't talk to the person. It doesn't matter what family members say. They only know you when they're around you. But they don't know who you are now. And that's the problem. If people would really stop and think and say, why am I mad? Because you're putting out something that happened 25 years ago. You weren't there when it happened. You're only going off your interpretation of it, but not what really happened because you weren't there. So if you weren't there, only the person that was the victim and the person that did what they did, or vice versa, can speak on it. They were there. The only people that can speak on it are the people that were actually there. So anybody else that goes into your past and they look at your old pictures and they post your old pictures, if they go back and they find a part of your life that they weren't there for, nobody else can speak on it. Because what happens is when they start looking into it and they realize they can't find nothing and that it wasn't what they thought it was, they'll make up something. Because then nobody can come behind it. But see, what that person can do is bring that other person and y'all both talk about it. And then you find out that there really is closure. Some people have closure in every situation they've been in. So regardless of whether or not you look for something, you ain't going to find it because those people already have closure. There's no reason to talk about it. So if people are still looking and they're still calling people and they can't find what they're looking for, they'll make it up. The problem is people are stupid enough to believe it. And because you know this, why worry about it? At the end of the day, if nobody that was involved in that situation came forward, or they said, look, I don't know why y'all asking about this. Me and this person have already resolved the situation. Why are y'all bringing it up? Because there are some people, closure is closure. And they're not trying to go backwards. They're trying to move forward. And I don't know why y'all want to keep drudging up stuff that ain't got nothing to do with what's going on right now. Just like I said, some people cannot let go of the past. Government is an example of that. So as long as they can't let it go, we ain't never going to be able to move forward. This country ain't never going to thrive. Because they're going to always want people to stay stagnant instead of growing, evolving, and elevating. And that's just the reality of it. But the question is, are you going to allow them to do it, or are you going to continue to rise, break the chains, get out the cage, and get out of bondage? That's the question.